When Tom Orr sat down to record what might be his final words to his wife Nancy, viewers saw a side of the mountain man legend no one had ever witnessed. He broke down, revealing a love story, buried regrets, and truths about life in the Yaak River Valley that would shatter everything fans thought they knew. The cabin in Montana's Yaak River Valley was silent. Tom, 79, weathered by decades on the edge of civilization, sat alone at the wooden table where he and Nancy had shared thousands of meals. His scarred hands trembled as he adjusted the camera. "I don't know how to start this," he said, his voice cracking. "I've faced grizzlies, survived deadly winters, lived through injuries that should have ended me. But finding words for Nancy, that's harder than any of it." For years, Tom had embodied self-reliance and stoic resilience. But facing the camera now, he was just a husband confronting mortality, realizing there were truths he could no longer leave unsaid. "Nancy's in the other room resting," he continued. "She doesn't know I'm doing this. She'd probably say I'm being foolish, but I need to do this now while I still can." What followed, nearly 40 minutes of raw honesty, would never air. It was too personal, too devastating, exposing the quiet price of a life off-grid and the sacrifices Nancy had carried silently. Tom and Nancy's story began long before cameras. They met in the 1970s. Tom, a rodeo rider chasing freedom, and Nancy, a diner worker in Illinois. Their courtship was brief but intense. Tom was clear. He wanted a life far from crowds, grids, and modern constraints. Nancy could have walked away, but she chose love, and a life that demanded everything. They married in 1973 and gradually moved toward isolation, finally settling in Montana's Yaak River Valley. No electricity, no running water, no neighbors, just survival. Nancy learned to tan hides, maintain the cabin, and endure brutal winters. Yet their partnership ran deeper than survival. They were fully dependent on each other. When Tom was injured, Nancy took over the work. When Nancy was sick, Tom cared for her. The cameras showed the skills, the landscape, the routines, but not the depth of their interdependence, the bond that made them inseparable. They were true partners, their bond tested by hardships that would have broken most marriages. But it came at a cost. Nancy gave up family ties, community, normalcy, and the chance to have children. Tom acknowledged it in his message. "Nancy gave up everything for me, because I needed this life more than anything else." He paused. "I told myself it was okay because she chose it, but knowing what you choose and living with it for 50 years, that's different." As Tom's health declined, subtle signs grew: exhaustion, tremors, confusion, until the day he collapsed repairing their water system. Nancy insisted on seeing doctors. The verdict was grim: advanced heart disease, early dementia, failing kidneys. Years, not decades, were left. The recommendation was clear: move closer to care, reduce labor, consider assisted living, leave the life they'd built. But Tom refused. "I'd rather have 2 good years here than 10 miserable ones somewhere else." Nancy met him with resolve. "Then I'm staying too. We started this together. We'll finish it together." Staying meant she would become his caretaker, witnessing his decline in one of the most isolated valleys in America. Tom addressed it in his private recording. "Nancy's agreed to stay, to take care of me, to be here at the end. And that's the most selfish thing I've ever asked of her. So I'm asking her to sacrifice again, one last time, and she'll do it because that's who Nancy is." On Mountain Men, Nancy appeared unshakable, but her private journals revealed the loneliness beneath her strength, longing for connection, screaming into the night just to hear a human voice. When she shared them with Tom, he broke, asking why she never told him it was too much. "It wasn't too much," she said. "It was hard, lonely at times, but I chose you. I would choose you again." Tom's recording was as much responsibility as it was love. He spoke plainly: "If you're watching this, I'm gone, and I'm sorry. Sorry my idea of paradise cost you so much. Every day we had was worth it. You were the only thing I ever loved more than the wilderness." He gave her permission to choose her path. "If you're angry, if you're tired, if you want to leave this valley, you should. This was my dream, not yours." Finally, the hardest truth: I was selfish. I knew you loved me enough to follow me anywhere, and I used that. You deserved more than I gave you. But you gave me 50 years most people never get, and I'm going knowing I was loved by the best person I ever met. His final plea was simple. Live, not just survive. Live however that looks for you. I was stubborn. I was selfish. I loved you deeply, but I asked too much. Remember the real me. I love you, he whispered. I've loved you since the moment I met you. Thank you for giving me a life worth living, for being my partner, for staying when anyone else would have left. You're the strongest person I've ever known, and you're going to be okay. I believe that with everything I have. The camera rolled in silence before going dark, leaving not a legend, but a man honest about the cost of the life he chose, and the woman who shared it. The message never aired, though fragments circulated as Tom's health declined, revealing the unseen toll of off-grid life, the sacrifices, the emotional labor, and the ways devotion can narrow a partner's choices. Nancy later spoke publicly, not with bitterness, but clarity. She made it clear that she had always chosen this life. The hardship was real, yes, but it was shared, and the decades of intimacy, purpose, and triumph made it worthwhile. Tom's message, she said, was less apology than act of love. It was his way of offering her freedom to choose after he was gone. Their story shows the complexity of true partnership. Tom needed the wilderness in a way Nancy did not, and loving him meant accepting the shape that need gave to their life. That imbalance does not diminish their love, it makes it real. It reveals how devotion can be beautiful, costly, and imperfect. What made Tom's message so devastating was its honesty. The people we love most often absorb the consequences of our deepest desires. Tom built the life he needed. Nancy made that life possible through decades of endurance and grace. His farewell was an acknowledgement of the cost and a desperate attempt to free her from the obligation to continue it alone. Whether she'll take that freedom remains unknown. What is clear is that their story, more complicated than any TV portrayal, stands as a testament to the truth of love lived fully, the sacrifices it demands, and the quiet reckonings that come with building a life together. The images of the cabin, trap lines, and winters now carry new weight. Resilience intertwined with devotion, and love forged and tested in isolation. Tom and Nancy's legacy isn't diminished by the truth of his goodbye. If you enjoy classic Hollywood stories, timeless glamour, and legendary stars, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share your favorite old Hollywood icon in the comments, or tell us who you'd love to see featured next. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new deep dive into Hollywood's golden age.